Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. U.S. citizen robbed and killed in St. Ann. A United States resident was robbed and shot to death by gunmen at his home in Monique, St. Ann on Monday night. He has been identified as Gregory McIntosh, a 43-year-old taxi operator from Brooklyn, New York. According to police, the now deceased had just arrived in the island. It was reported that around 8 p.m., McIntosh was at home when three men armed with handguns entered the house and held him up. McIntosh, the police said, was robbed of an undetermined sum of cash before being shot several times in the back of the head, left side of his back, and right wrist. The gunmen ran from their premises and escaped in a waiting motor vehicle. The police were summoned to the location where they found McIntosh lying in a pool of blood with multiple gunshot wounds. The body was taken to the morgue for a post-mortem examination. Man gunned down in Manchester. Police are probing Monday night's murder of a man in Shudley, northern Manchester. Police identified the deceased as Anthony Williams, 51, a former and resident of Shudley housing scheme. A police report said about 11:30 p.m., Williams was walking home in the scheme when he was pounced upon by gunmen who opened fire, hitting him. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police statistics show that up to March 31, Manchester had recorded 12 murders since the start of the year, the same figure for the corresponding period last year. Manchester police investigating car stealing ring. Police say they are following strong leads following the discovery of a car stealing ring in Deep Roll, Manchester. A police source told reporters that among the stolen cars and car parts recovered during an operation in Brokenhurst District, Manchester on Monday was a Nissan AD wagon that was reportedly stolen in Kingston on Sunday night. Acting on information, the police carried out a raid at a premises in the area where the vehicles were found. One of the cars was stolen last night in the corporate area, said the source. It is believed that the area was being used by criminals to scrap stolen cars, added the source. Brokenhurst is located close to Old England. Reporters were told that last week, the police recovered a vehicle in Mandeville that was stolen from Portmore. The vehicle was shot down and the thief stitched the car, said the source. Police are urging motorists to invest in tracking devices and enhance security for their vehicles. Having spent millions to purchase a vehicle, spend a little more to protect it, said a police source. Attorney to help jobs in bid to protect rights of guards. Two attorneys have taken on the task of helping the Jamaica Association for Private Securities Jobs in its bid to protect the rights of guards. JOBS President Teddy Lee Gray said in addition to the lawyers, the association will be seeking the intervention of Public Defender Caroline Reed Cameron. The guards are preparing to mount a legal challenge against some security companies that have reportedly asked guards to sign controversial contracts, requiring them to waive their rights, including benefits for years of service. This is in the midst of the guards transitioning from contract workers to employees. Mr. Gray said JOBS is encouraging more guards to join the association so that the lawyers can represent about 200 members in the claim. He added that getting the help of the public defender would reduce the legal expense for the guards. The group has launched an online petition seeking the Prime Minister's intervention in the matter. So far, it has over 200 signatures.
All right, so currently we have gotten Mr. Alexander Sean Trevor. We are basically bringing against the Guardsman Metaverse because they are being impacted the most. The other companies are basically telling their security officers that they still can work, but they're not going to get benefits. But in terms of Guardsman Metaverse, they're basically saying they're out of a job. So at least we're trying to get a database together. At least we need over 200 security officers to sign. So far, we have gotten 95 or something like that. Therefore, when we bring it to the court, at least they can see that we are representing the security officers. Truth be told, the lawyers basically don't want to maybe bring, for example, 50 single case to the Supreme Court. That will maybe take up a lot of time. So they want to at least JOBS as a group represent the security officers. You know, we're trying to target a figure. If we don't get the 200, obviously we have to work with the numbers and maybe seek an injunction of the security officers who are not working to at least get back their job. So that's what we are planning to do. But it is good if the public defender would maybe come in and join in, because obviously the legal cost, even though the lawyers haven't bring the cost to us yet, but we know sometimes the legal cost, that will maybe be an issue for a lot of security officers. But most of us are willing to pay the legal cost, but I think it would be good if the public defender step in and at least maybe try to bring a case to the courts to represent our security officer, because we believe that we are entitled to our years of service, because regards to the NHT matter, we believe that the court ruling wasn't talking about the years of service. So at least we're planning to bring that to court.
JUTC, Union to continue talks at Labour Ministry. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security will seek to address several issues affecting staff of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC during a meeting today. Corporate Communications Manager at the JUTC, Cecil Toms, has confirmed that the parties will be meeting starting at 11 a.m. to discuss a number of issues which have been raised by the employees of the state-owned bus company who walk off the job on Monday, March 29. With scores of commuters stranded in Kingston Metropolitan Region, the Labour Ministry intervened and convinced the workers to resume duties less than 24 hours after they walk off the job. Late last week, Clifton Grant, first Vice President of the University of Allied Workers Union, which represent the workers, told reporters that the ministry talks will take place. Grant noted that one of the major grosses of the worker, the deduction of money which was paid as an advance on salary in December and deducted from their March salaries, has been settled. Everybody was refunded, and the discussions will be a follow-up to review some of the concerns which have been raised within the bargaining unit about abnormalities in the public sector compensation review, Grant stated. He also pointed out to the union that it was seeking to complete the discussions on the outstanding issues arising from the compensation review at the meeting with the ministry. NWC systems being affected by theft of data logging equipment. The National Water Commission (NWC) has reported that the theft of at least 7 specialized data loggers from its water supply network in the corporate area in recent months has left it unable to properly monitor its system in some areas. The company said the data logger are connected to the water supply pipeline and provide important system information such as flow and pressure measurements, as well as remote electronic updates. NWC added that with this critical infrastructure in place, it would normally be able to operate its water supply in a smarter, more efficient and responsive manner. Consequently, the loss or damage of the loggers prevent the NWC from being able to monitor pressures and flows, identify system issues remotely, initiate responses in real time, and even predict and control pipeline breaks and other issues on the immediate area, it said in a release on Monday. According to the NWC, the theft caused blind spot on its water supply network and could lead to disruption in service to customers and significant reduction in the quality of service in the areas in which they have been stolen. The NWC said while the equipment is of great importance and value to it, it is unaware of the data logger being of any use to persons who steal them. And the NWC stated that thefts have occurred despite the fact that the equipment is securely locked up. The utility provider is appealing to the public to report any observance of unscrupulous persons tampering with blue, hydrant-like pillar box or any other part of its network to its security department at 876-929-354025. It's 888, call NWC, toll-free number, or the police. The NWC said since 2015, it has spent over $50 billion to upgrade its water supply network in the corporate area. This included installing thousands of data loggers, specialized values, and other control devices to establish nearly 150 pressure zones across the 1,700 kilometers of pipeline network to reduce losses and improve system efficiency. Please remember to subscribe, like, share,